Hey y'all, and welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Jonathan, and I'm joined today by Frank.
Hey everybody.
And today we got Thomas.
I woke up today. Yay! Let's do this.
All right. I know we are doing an early recording today. How you guys been doing? How you guys liking the new year so far?
Can't complain. I mean, it's going okay. You know, just getting the gears back to running after that nice little break. And so we're getting there. How about you guys?
I'm the opposite. I can only complain right now. No,
Yeah, I bet.
New baby at home. It's crazy. We are loving it. All jokes aside, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm happy to talk some geek stuff because I think this year is going to be insane.
Oh my God, yeah. It's a movie pass year for sure.
I know. I tried Movie Pass too, and it's like it's so clunky and stuff. But I think I might do the membership to a local theater this year because
Good move.
Unless a lot of movies are coming out on IMAX, because I don't necessarily go to the IMAX one very often, but it's a little further away. So I don't know. But
You will be going at least once this year, I think, with Christopher Nolan coming and dropping the Odyssey.
What's so funny, me and John were talking about that last week. Yeah, last week. And John's like, I don't know anything about it. I'm like, I don't want you to know anything about it. I want you to go in blind on that one because that's going to be good reaction for somebody who doesn't know anything about the Odyssey.
Yeah.
My take on it is like, I think it's about boats.
That
was it.
There's gonna be some boats today. It's so
That's all I know.
We got one piece of the puzzle.
They talk about it in The Simpsons. I hear Homer a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, there is a Simpsons episode about it. It's actually pretty good about it, actually. Yeah.
All right. So let's start off with our question of the week. What is your guys' Geeks New Year's resolution? Any geek stuff you're changing for the year?
I'm gonna just throw some pie in the sky stuff because you know what? Every year, I never know what's gonna happen. Excuse me. Things just like appear. At least the last like 3 years for me, and so I'm just gonna throw a Hail Mary out there. I want to interview 2 people that are gonna be in Avengers Doomsday.
Ooh,
I think that's a very good goal.
Like it.
Yeah. I was thinking too, like, is there a comic book run that like I haven't read? Oh, this is another thing. Then I want to read a handful more of Green Lantern comics. Green Lantern is my favorite DC character. We have Lanterns coming out this year. Out of everything in the DCU, when this was announced, like that was the thing I was most hyped for. I want to know what Lanterns is probably going to be about, I guess. Just really familiarize myself. Yeah.
I did the same thing last year that my geek was like, oh, I'll read more comic books and so I can kind of fill up my knowledge. And that worked really well. And now there's like some comics that I didn't really read or give a chance to beforehand. And now like my favorites, and you guys are going to hear when Supergirl comes out, I'm going to be like raving over it because of this last year.
Yeah.
And so my Geek New Year's resolution this year is similar, is that I'm going to be reading more books. And so I'm already off to a really good start. I got one down and halfway through another. And I just kind of want to specifically read books that I know are going to get developed into movies and things like that. Basically, not only is it a geek resolution, but it's also a podcast resolution because then I can pretend like I know more stuff. You know, it's
pretend nice. Very well. I mean, you pretend better than anybody else I know because you do know a lot.
Well, usually I'm leaning on Squeaks because Squeaks, for whatever, this is what he tells me. Okay, so a little spoiler alert, guys, for how Squeaks is so knowledgeable about books. He says, I don't use TikTok when I'm in the bathroom. When I'm taking a dump, I'm reading books. And I'm like, how often are you in the bathroom, bro? Because you go through like a book a week. You might have other problems then.
That's actually a really good resolution. I might have to do that.
He's got 2 young girls running to that house probably screaming. So he's like, hey guys, I got to go to the bathroom.
This is my
so right. That's the only place you can get peace. You need to put an intercom in there, really mess them up.
Right. For me, I do want to get back into reading comics, but I have a dad way to do it is I want to start reading comics with my son. He's 4, about to be 5. I know it can't be everything that I like. I got to find certain runs that, pique his interest. And even at his age, I don't think he's interested. I've been putting on Avatar on our TV a lot, and he's still not interested in that. He
watched Avatar at my house, Jonathan, and was into it. So
but
I specifically went to like a fight scene, so that way it was like a lot of action. Yeah,
that's such a cool goal, though, man. Like I can't wait till my kids at that point because I'm like, look at this comic, and Christine's like, no, just show him a baby book. Like he can't even see colors yet. Just like, what are you trying to do? Don't read like Doomsday or I don't know, Infinity Crisis to him or something. Yeah, he doesn't know what's going on.
Too heavy. Yeah. So during the free comic book day, we got the Spider-Man Iron Man crossover from the new Disney cartoon that they have, which is just right for him. He loves that show. And so we read that together and he liked it. So I'm like, okay, I just got to find stuff that's more age appropriate and we can start making this a regular thing. Every night we read a comic together. And, before you know it, maybe another year or so, he'll be into Avatar and all this, a little bit older, complex story kind of stuff. So baby steps, but I'm excited.
Don't get into the Alan Moore stuff until he's like an adult, because man, that stuff's a downer. Get into Watchmen and like, oh, look at that Cold War. That's fun. That sounds familiar.
Only I can read Alan Moore stuff now. Like,
I know. I want to start reading Saga with him, and I'm like, well, I could just only show you like every other page, anyways.
Yeah.
So I'll have to, create the story as I'm reading and editing it too. But that's okay.
So many random sex scenes and stuff in that one.
Lots of them, yeah.
Before we keep going farther, Thomas, I'm gonna throw it to you to explain what's going on with Challenge Accepted, one of our best podcasts in the network.
Yeah. So not going to beat around the bush. We are currently putting that thing to rest right now because of how this year is shaping up. I think both of us are so proud and excited of what we did with that show over there, and we really put our all into it, watching so many incredible things, some things we even didn't like, but to challenge ourselves, we took a ton of notes on it. We did the best we could, but I think as this year kind of progressed, me now with a little one and really just kind of focusing on like, what do we want to try to do this year? Geek Freaks is for sure a main priority for you. And it's like you had energy going in other places. I now also do a podcast called Sick Burn, which is, more mental health focused. And that has become a lot of energy. And so we really just kind of wanted to elevate the things that we really, really care about. And so I hope to like support you here more. We're going to have more sick burn kind of things going on as well. And and because of that, Challenge Accepted needed to kind of put to the rest, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said that as good as I could, but please help me out here.
Yeah, I thought it would be, you're totally right. And I think also one of the key things is the fact that we didn't want it to peter out and it'd be a struggle for both of us to get done. And I kept coming back to, we've tried it with Stranger Things and with Superman last year for Geek Freaks. We're always, you guys don't know behind the scenes stuff, but behind the scenes stuff, we're constantly trying things, reading the analytics on it, adopting or abandoning. And one of the things was doing like episodes that are just focused on one new thing that came out. And it's like, well, that's basically what Challenge Accepted is. Let's fold that into Geek Freaks as well. And we're leaving Challenge Accepted on a high. It's a good library if you guys ever want to go back and listen to that stuff. And then, if you want more Thomas, there's Sick Burn, and he'll be on Geek Freaks. And I know you don't want any more of me because I'm already too much on the internet. So,
can't get enough of you, man.
But there's plenty of other shows. We have within the network. We have 2 more in the network coming up this year that are already in the pre-production phase. So, gonna be a good year for Geek Freaks.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Tangled. First off, overall, are you guys still caring about these live action movies? Specifically, Jonathan, you've been a dad for a bit now. Is this something that you care about?
No. So I was really impressed with the Snow White remake, and I know a lot of people didn't like it. I liked it because I went to theaters. Going to theaters makes everything so much better. But and my son was really interested in it at 4 years old. I was so surprised that he sat through a live action movie.
Yeah.
But the event of going to the theaters helps a lot. But I liked it. I don't know why it got such bad reviews, but I'm comparing it to a movie from 1730s that was so old. I don't remember actually seeing the original Snow White anymore.
Yeah.
So it's very different to watching, the Lion King remake, where I grew up with it as a kid and I'm attached to the original. And then, it's the remake of a movie so old like Snow White is basically a new movie to me. Mm-hmm. And I thought they did a good job with it. They didn't stick to the story so stringently and they made it kind of make sense and adapted it and stuff. So for this, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't in love with Tangled. It wasn't, didn't come out when we were kids. It's a little bit later. So I don't think maybe it's necessarily for us. It's probably for the next generation that was young when it came out. But is it going to be to them like the Lion King reboot or a lot of these other ones where either they're telling the exact same story, so why do I need to watch it? Or they're telling a different story and like, why are they ruining something that I'm so in love with? It's I don't think they can win by doing this over and over again.
Yeah, it's funny. Like So we watched Lilo and Stitch, right? One of the biggest live action remakes last year, right? And going back to the original and then watching the live action was kind of mad, especially with what happened to Nani and like her being like, oh, Hana means family, but I'm going to leave you and I'm going to go to college and study something where I should be studying it here in the island. I was like, what the heck? But there are elements of that where I'm like, this is super cool to see in person. And you're right about Tangled. Like, it's definitely not going to be for me. I didn't grow up watching it, but my sisters and my wife, they're probably going to like it. Like, you know, it's more of their story. So I don't know. I think I'm always kind of open to see what they're going to do. It's just, you got to be careful. And Jonathan, I know you're not online as much as we are. That's probably the best bet when it comes to these live action remakes. Yeah. Cause it's like, when you start hearing the dialogue and like, look at that, look at what they changed. It's not even dwarves, you know, whatever. Yeah. And all of a sudden it does kind of put like a bad taste in your mouth. If you just go in and probably watch it, it's probably fine. You're probably like, yeah, this is good, you know? So I think my wife might like it. I probably won't be rushing to go see this.
You know where I think I might like it is if they make it darker. If they do directly angle it towards adults our age to where it's all about like this girl's actually being, you know, gaslit in this tower by some crazy woman who abducted her as a child and the magic of this flower and all this stuff, like make it, you know, more like the Penguin, more like, you know, the darker side of Batman versus the happy-go-lucky story where everybody's happy in the end, you know?
Yeah, it's like Tangled by
kids,
Andy Muschietti. You're like, what the guy who did it? You know, it's like super dark. Really cool. I like that take though.
But I think they might have learned a little bit, but there's no reason. That's the thing is like we look at it as like Lilo and Stitch sucked. That was bad. Hopefully they'll learn a lesson. What lesson? They made $1 billion in that movie.
Yeah, totally.
True. They learned garbage makes money still.
Yeah. It's like it wasn't yeah, but that's the thing. Like it wasn't garbage, but like they changed things in the story that like made the story what it is. But you know, if you want to see a cute girl trying to find a friend, like you still got that, right? And
you did, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I'm sure they're gonna nail it with Tangled. Like I think to me, one of the best live action remakes probably was Beauty and the Beast, but maybe it's because I like Emma Watson. I don't know. I thought that was really done well, but yeah, I'm not.
I keep falling back to Jungle Book. Like Jungle Book, I think was perfect.
Oh yeah,
and it was like
really well done,
super unique, you know. And it was done by Jon Favreau, who I'll watch anything he makes. And so, but that was also the very beginning of them doing this live action thing. So there was no expectations. And I would hope that Disney will pull from DreamWorks because I think that How to Train Your Dragon was a way to do it. They brought in the original director and they were just like, make this but live action. And you can knock that all you want, but it kept the heart, the soul, the voice, everything from the old movie and was just for a new generation now. And I think that's something that maybe Disney should consider, especially if they're going to already nostalgia bait us, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it was just an addition too, right? Like it wasn't like change it. It was just like, here's more of the thing you love, you know, it fills in those gaps. That's cool.
There was still people that were like, oh, she's the wrong race. And I'm like, you guys can't fucking be happy. Holy shit.
Welcome to the internet in 2026, right?
So like, you gotta just walk away crazy. Sometimes. Like, I'm gonna go out and touch grass and talk to animals. I'm done. I'll be Snow White.
Do you guys think there's a lot of people that won't watch a movie because it's animated and they think that's just for kids?
Ooh, interesting. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
But less than before, though. I want to throw that out there. You know?
Yeah. That whole How to Train Your Dragon, I'm trying to figure who's going to watch that specifically because it's exact, like, right, shot for shot remake.
Right.
And so they're telling the exact same story. Everything's the same. The only difference is the animation style or the, you know, animated versus live action.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's where they increase sales. I mean, nostalgia, people that want to hear the same story again. And then people who never watched it because it was animated and they thought, oh, that's just for little kids, right?
Yeah. And I think as like our kid gets older, my wife's going to be one of those people. It's funny, like I'll be like, oh, let's put this on. Like she almost didn't want to watch Bob's Burgers because she's like, why are you putting on this cartoon? And then I just like left it on, and then she's like, and then when I would come to bed, she would just be watching it, you know. And so I think there is those people who think cartoons kids, but I think that is changing.
Mm-hmm. Can't believe Bob's Burgers is 15 years this week. That's
what?
Wild. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude!
I know.
Old. We're getting old. Damn it. Oh, so, man.
Quick side note on Bob's Burger. If you hadn't heard, I saw a TikTok about it.
Yeah.
Original concept. I reposted it. Original concept. He was supposed to be cannibal. The whole family was going to be cannibals. Their shop was selling burgers that were made from human meat.
Because it's originally for Adult Swim.
That. Yeah.
Holy smokes. That's crazy.
They abandoned that concept, but that's why the first episode, Luis is trying to convince everybody that they sell human flesh at the restaurant.
Yeah.
And that was like a whole gag in the first episode.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
That would have been very different.
A very different show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's a good show.
Talking about Tangled, we have some casting. So for Flynn Rider is going to be Milo Manheim, and for the Rapunzel is going to be Tegan Croft. Let me get this clear, because I, dear God, don't want the comments again. I don't need that smoke. Apparently, Milo Manheim is incredible. And I, foolishly, not knowing who the hell he was, said something along the lines of like, I don't know who this guy is. He's from some stuff from Disney. Sure. My God, does he have some fans. And they're very supportive, and they love to type in comments. So I love Milo Manheim, everybody. Apparently he's Taylor Swift 2.0.
Wow. Good thing.
He's got to be hella charismatic, though. If you're going to be playing Flynn, man, you better capture that. That's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where they're going to be profiting from this, is they actually using a name that they made popular at Disney already with that, young teen age group or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The girl is from
I don't recognize where
Titans,
she's from.
right?
Oh, you're right, Raven.
Well, whatever. Give me the smoke, I guess. There are
I didn't get anything for her, so go for it, man.
There's moments when she's good, and there's moments where you're like, ooh.
That's kind of Titans, though,
let's
frankly.
practice up our game here, So, but I think she like the way she looks is probably good for the role. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, she looks like she's going to fit. I'm just going to be interested in who they get for Mother Gothel, because so far the casting options have all been like very theatrical actors, and right now the number one that they're talking to right now is Catherine Hahn. And after Agatha All Along, I will follow her into hell and back.
And after the studio too, where she's like such an over the top like LA person, so good. Oh my God. Okay, that kind of sold me on the movie right there. I'll go watch it.
And Scarlett Johansson was attached, but apparently she's not attached anymore because she's doing something else with Sebastian.
Secret Wars?
Batman 2.
Oh,
so Batman her and Sebastian Stan just got Batman 2 now. And
that's crazy.
This is going to be a little bit controversial because I got a bunch of pretty good friends that are like, no, you need the sources. I'm like, THR is the source. Right. Sebastian Stan's going to be playing Harvey Dent, the Two-Face for the Batman. Ooh. And that will be incredible. I am so on board for that. Oh, my God.
Shoot, I forgot. Sorry, I don't want to get political, but it's like, what's the movie where he plays Trump?
I forget the name of it, but yeah.
Man, yeah, if you watch that, he's going to play a really good Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he's got that thing, like Harvey Dent has to be the hero up until the moment something happens, and then you're just like, oh, he's Batman. But Batman, we side with. It's like the two characters are so mirrored to each other, and it's like also why Hush is
right
cool
at the
too.
end.
Yeah. All right, Thomas, what are we talking about next?
All right, so obviously with the big news at the end of last year with Netflix putting in a bid to buy Warner Brothers, Netflix has actually talked about what they would do for theatrical releases, which is a 17-day window for movies and theaters. I am of two minds here. One, that doesn't seem like a lot of time, but I think that for me, it's like, as somebody who wants to go to the theaters, like, I think that it's nice because they're not taking away full theatrical releases yet. And I think there's no way that if a movie's successful, you don't keep it in theaters. The fact of the matter is like movies have stayed in theaters less and less and less as decades have gone on. So I think, if we have an Odyssey, let's say it was under the Warner Brothers, that was under the Netflix, and all of a sudden it's making a ton of money. I think they keep it in theaters for like a month, maybe a month and a half. But like the days of Star Wars, the original New Hope, when it was in theaters for 3 months, like no movie's really done that anymore. So I'm like, it's kind of okay. But I think the other positive could be when Netflix creates their own movie, and we just got it with Stranger Things. It's like we could have some of these Netflix only shows in theaters. And I didn't get to see the finale because new baby at home, but I would have gone to theaters and watched the Stranger Things finale. So I don't know. I think that there could be some positives out of it. What do you guys think?
I do see that the positives of kind of like making events out of movies is always important. The 17 days, though, I think is going to mess with people's minds where they're like, I'll just wait 2 weeks. Do you think I think that'll become kind of common,
Yeah, I'm hoping it makes, where they get to like kind of focus on the marketing, and then it makes us excited. Because we saw Stranger Things, they did some really unique stuff with the marketing. I don't know if people probably aren't that into it, but just kind of some of the ads that they did, some collaborations with some brands, like this flashlight they made, the Gatorade set. Like I was a massive Gatorade fan. Sounds weird to say, but like my dad worked for them when I was a little kid. So we have all this cool retro Gatorade stuff.
That's
and then
cool.
they made like these capsule collections with Gatorade that had like a shirt in it and a towel and an old Gatorade bottle that had Stranger Things to it. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy that. That's super cool. So I think if you can kind of, I don't know, make it exciting, make these things events again, you're going to go check it out. And that's something Marvel has done really well. I think it's something that the DCU is doing really well. If Netflix can do this with their properties as well, like it could work. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. One thing I think what they should try to do, I love going to the movies, but when it comes down to like last minute, like, should we go? Should we not go? Like, we'll just wait. We'll see it when it comes out. Cause life is busy and you get tired or whatever. But if you could buy, popcorn bucket package and stuff like that ahead of time, a week in advance, or just a regular ticket, but the ticket is 20% off or something, some kind of hook to get people to buy their ticket, buy their seat when they're excited about the movie, not the day that it comes out, but beforehand. You buy it, you're locked in. I'm going to go. If not, that ticket's going to go to waste. And it doesn't have to be a huge discount, just, a few dollars off, but get people to commit to that movie. And even if you don't pick your seat until you get there, something like that, that's fine. But I think I would probably go to the movies more if I, was pre-buying the tickets.
Mm-hmm. I like that idea. Because the idea of, there was a time when people would walk up to a theater, and I've done it actually a couple years ago. You walk up to a theater not knowing what's in there and just see the times on the outside and then pick a movie and go. I mean, there's nobody today that does that, really. No. Everybody has apps, so it's hard to imagine that's the case.
Now, if the theaters had a bigger arcade or lounge area, place to hang out, and you just meet up with your friends there and say, hey, we'll just go hang out, and then if we see something we like, we'll watch it, that would be totally cool too. But I think most theaters, you don't get to enter until you pay for a ticket anyway, so you can't just go and hang out in the arcade.
That's true.
But I don't know. It would be nice to make it more of a place that you hang out, more of a event. Maybe if Netflix started selling their merch for their movies in the theater, where you could buy all this, Stranger Things stuff, and it's there for a couple weeks, and then the merch is swapped out for the next movie that's on their shelves or whatever. Yeah, maybe that would make it a little more fun too.
I mean, and the thing that keeps these movies in theaters is good word of mouth. So really, it's going to come down to, are they going to make good stuff? And if they do, if these movies are great, like even if it was a 17-day window for the Odyssey, for example, there's no way it doesn't stay for 30 days if the movie's amazing. Like people are going to go see that. They're going to be like, wait, I didn't get to see it in the first couple of weeks. Oh, I better go week 3. And that's going to, so if this could also be an encouraging thing for the studios to not just pump out stuff and just make quality things. So I don't know. I'm going to try to side on being positive. It could be a good thing.
That actually brings up the point that you and me had talked about in the past, those middle budget movies. This might give them more of a chance in theaters too, because they're not competing with a 30-day Marvel movie. If it's a 17-day, I mean, Marvel wouldn't be part of this deal, but let's talk about this. If they have to rotate movies faster in theaters, that gives the studios a need to pump out more middle budget movies to fill that gap up. And that's where you get Step Brothers. That's where you get, I don't know, just movies. TMNT, like the 90s TMNT was an indie film. And so like, that's where you get those having a chance. And then suddenly they can become the nostalgia bait that we eventually go back to when they remake it. So
Jason Statham movies.
Dude, you just made me think of something too. Like, what if there's just Netflix shows you've always wanted to see on the big screen, or Warner Brothers shows? Like, what if there's a opportunity to watch?
Oh my God, Game of Thrones again.
Thrones. Yeah. Dude, seeing that in theaters would be
shit.
Dude, I would 100% go watch that in theater. So it could be cool.
And one of the things that Netflix has been saying that, like, they first off, they said that they haven't said for sure they're doing the 17-day window. They have just been arguing for it in the past. And so people are saying that that's what they're going to do. But one of the things that they were talking about is a lot of movies, they have that initial punch. And then we always talk about fall off, because that actually talks about how successful a movie will be, not necessarily how good it did their opening weekend. And the fall off for the 3rd and 4th and 5th weeks, it's all about how did the word of mouth go. And the idea that the word of mouth from the theaters can then have people tune in on Netflix, that makes Netflix suddenly have a better commercial, a better advertising avenue. Like, say Odyssey is kind of unknown or whatever. Like, Odyssey will do so good in theaters for the people who like theaters. They'll go home and make podcasts about it and talk about how good it was. And then people were like, oh man, that's going to be on Netflix next week. How dope. And they're a lot more likely to be excited about something that's going to release on Netflix. And they're a lot more likely, of course, to watch it than they are to spend the maybe $20 to go to the theaters.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, and never would I think I'd be like kind of rooting for Netflix in a way. Like I feel so weird about that. But I definitely think it was like lesser of two evils. And if that's the case,
That's
like,
happening a
all
lot right
right,
now.
yeah,
No, seeing how Paramount, unfortunately, Paramount, who controls Survivor and Star Trek and so many properties that I truly love, but seeing where they're going right now, and they're sponsors of the show a lot. I better make sure they're not a sponsor of this episode. It's worrisome, right? So we're cautious of the big ownerships, and so right now we're rooting for Netflix. Didn't think we would be, but they are the lesser of two evils, and they pay slightly. I mean, talking slightly better than Paramount does their own employees. So rooting for that as well. We'll see how it goes, guys. It's an unsure future for Hollywood, and we need to support the movies that we like, or else they won't be there next time. Heading into our discussion for the week, we're going to be talking about the 4 Avengers Doomsday teasers. And my first question for you guys is, this is obviously a new try. And in a world where everything's just going to leak, I think Marvel assumed these were going to leak as well, and just kind of like, well, there's always going to be something coming up for the next few weeks. It's over the holiday break. People are talking about other things, so this will be kind of a nice little side conversation. What did you guys think about them doing 4 teasers instead of like one amazing trailer for the new Avengers?
I think that's smart, really, because we don't want to steamroll over details, and people already pick stuff apart. You see a hour-long video of somebody dissecting a movie trailer, where if you're just letting out tiny snippets at a time, the information can, be fully dispersed and, taken apart, whatever. And then another tiny piece comes out. So it helps, I think, build more excitement behind it. All the, theories can be flushed out and stuff. And then, people might make a bunch of crazy theories, and then the next teaser comes out and it like changes, or, it squashes half of them or something like that.
I think
it's just smart on their end that it's really maximizing the engagement with the audience.
Jonathan, what you said there makes so much sense to me. It's like you're allowing them to have the leaks. That's inevitable, and that some people like they build brands off of. But also, it's so little detail, so little information that all we could do is like do the what ifs and not necessarily say like, well, this shot means this, and totally ruin the plot before the movie's out. That is very handy. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And to some degree, a little bit of misdirection to where there's, instead of, one obvious, this is what's going to happen, there's going to be so many theories that go in all different directions that it makes it like a white noise. Like, okay, well, nobody knows because there's so many fan theories out there, versus if you give it enough to where there's just like 2 or 3 fan theories, we know it has to go one of these ways. And like the ending of Game of Thrones, nobody's going to be happy with it no matter how it ends, because their imagination exceeded the writing. Yeah, that too. Yeah. So to let it become a white noise of theories is probably a lot better for them, for the writers.
Yeah. I like it. That's well said. I'm not completely convinced that Marvel, this wasn't the plan. I'm like, I kind of think it was. Like, if you look at, big reviewers, Try Goofy, he was calling out Soups, not calling him out in like a bad way, but just saying like, whoa, check this out. Like, I'm not supposed to say this. But then you see that he's at the Russo brothers studio filming the trailer. So it's kind of like, okay, was this the plan? But to your point, Jonathan, I think what I love about these teasers is that there isn't plot to them. All we're doing is we're catching up with characters we already love. And you might be a fan of Captain America or Chris Evans' Captain America. You might be a fan of Thor. You might be a fan of the X-Men. But basically, it's 4 different parts of what we're going to be seeing in Doomsday. They're individual groups, right? And Captain America, Chris Evans, is his own thing. Like, he's his own fan base alone, right?
Yeah.
Because of how well his movies did through phases 1 through 3. Then Thor. Obviously, people love Chris Hemsworth Thor. Like, that's his own thing. Why is he praying to the Allfather? But Odin's gone. So that's already interesting. Gives us nothing about the plot, just tells us what the character is up to. And then we saw the X-Men. Oh crap, they're back. We see like our Charles Xavier that we were growing up, and our Magneto, like, Patrick Stewart, they're back. And are we talking like spoilerish for the latest one?
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about the unreleased trailer right now. There are leaks out. Just understand that you guys got like a couple days and this will be out in full. So if you guys don't want to see that couple days, then go ahead.
Yeah, skip ahead like 30 seconds. But so it sounds like it's gonna be the Fantastic Four in Wakanda.
And so more.
And Namor.
Oh yeah, he's in it. I watched the trailer already.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah.
Okay.
People,
Dang, all I can think about is Sue Storm and Namor. That's gonna be
me too.
spicy. But okay, I know that's its own group of fans as well, too.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Like if you know comics, like the Fantastic Four and Wakanda has interwoven a lot. Like there's a lot of connection between those groups. It doesn't seem like it would on like just throwing it out there, but in the comics it makes a ton of sense. And so I think it's great. I think that's its own group of fans. And again, I still don't know what's going on, how they're going to mash all these worlds together. So it's just from a purely like interest standpoint, I think this is a really smart strategy.
I think it comes down to trying to remind us that this Avengers is going to be different than any past Avengers. In all the Avengers movies before, we've followed basically a centralized Avengers group. And now we're going to be, this Avengers movie is going to feel a lot more like a comic book or a comic book event, really like a crisis event for DC or something, where we're following different teams doing different things. That it's going to be this global problem, Doctor Doom, and presumably they'll lose. And then we'll get Secret Wars. And so kind of setting that expectation up, not necessarily defining those different divisions, but I mean, obviously that the Wakanda one will be its own division. We know that much. But so for like seeing Steve Rogers, for example, that's bringing back the original Avengers. It's going to kind of remind you of like Sam Wilson's Avengers team. The next one, maybe Chris Hemsworth and stuff like that. That's talking about fatherhood and kind of reminding you of Phase 4 and all the newer movies. Kind of reminds you of Thunderbolts a little bit. And then, so I think we're kind of getting these different divisions. I'm also looking at the themes. The first two are clearly about fatherhood. We're seeing Steve Rogers with a son, which, you know, that could be an encouragement. We'll get into that in a sec. But, you know, then we're seeing Thor, who's wanting to make sure he could return back to love his daughter, who herself is a very powerful character at some point in the comic books as well. And maybe we could see like Xavier and his kids.
At the end of Fantastic Four is Doom with Franklin, right?
Yeah, Franklin.
It's like, wait a minute, is this going to be a through line with all of them?
So do you guys think that maybe there's a theme that they're trying to tell us through all of these, that there's a parentage theme going across all of them?
Yeah. That's it.
Exactly.
I think he nailed it.
And to an extent, maybe this is Marvel's transition of, hey, we got to pass the torch to the next generation. And you know, the things that we've fallen in love with, the whole MCU, it's coming to an end and going to be shifting into a new era.
Yeah.
Definitely a soft reboot. Yeah.
Totally. Like some of these characters are going to need a happy ending, right? Like not everybody's going to get it. Maybe not everybody's going to make it, but somebody surely has to have like a happy ending where, you know, it is about their kid and just kind of, you know, like I'm done. I'm putting down the shield truly this time. But, you know, who knows? They're going to make all these actors do it till they're 90. But, you know, hopefully there is like truly a passing of the torch to some of these. And then like, those stories end and it resets in a way and we get new casting and, you know, these characters will live on with a whole new story, you know, and that's completely not tied to the Infinity Wars. Like, I think they tried, but I think they half-heartedly tried. Like, you know, phases 4 through 6 now, it's like they introduced a character. I don't know, maybe it didn't do as well as we wanted. But the interconnectivity that we got so much in phases 1 through 3, like they're going to have to do a lot of connecting in this movie. And they're going to have to do it seamlessly so that you feel like I'm not chewing on, you know, this isn't Thanksgiving dinner with like a bunch of different families of different ethnicities coming in where it's like, hey, you know, the Wags are bringing Chinese food and the whatever, you know, it's just like so much smorgasbord. They're going to have to make this seamless and make it fun. But yeah, I think fatherhood is going to be the thing that ties them all together. And that's going to be cool. But, you know, I don't know. I have faith in it. I think they're going to pull it off. I don't know what it is. And I kind of love that I don't know what the plot is.
That is nice. Yeah. We know where it's going because of Secret Wars. They called their shot a little bit too soon on that. That's how they always do it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where that shakes out. Do you feel like at the end of this next 2 movies, are we going to be ready for the reset? Do you think that the Russo brothers are the right guys to end things off of this saga or this era?
Yeah, I think so. I think that they can do it. I mean, they've obviously shown that they understand how to work within the Marvel system. They understand depth of characters. They understand action. I think they're actually really good at making like kinetic, powerful scenes. The elevator scene will always be peak. Yeah. You know, even the knife fight between Winter Soldier and Cap in the streets, like will always be peak. Like they're obviously going to be able to do that. But I think they also are able to give characters their moments. Like one thing you get out of Endgame is that you have so many characters in that final battle, and everybody gets that one moment where you're like, yes, that's what I want to see from them. Like Spider-Man gets the kill all, tentacle spikes stabbing everybody. Black Panther gets his kinetic blast. Like Hawkeye has the moment where he's flying up the shaft, slicing everybody with a katana. Like everybody gets their moment to shine, and you need that in these giant like Avengers. That was the coolest thing in all the Avenger movies. That first movie when they were all flying through the city or fighting in the city, and everybody gets their moment. Great. Age of Ultron. We all got to protect the center. That's dope. Like they're going to be able to land that. And I think regardless of like if the story is perfect, everybody's going to have a cool moment. And I'm super down for that.
So I think I'm maybe putting too much of the blame on the Russo brothers. I should be putting it more on Kevin Feige and MCU as a whole then, because I'm a little concerned that like Endgame finished or was such a masterful movie, and I think it's actually my favorite, especially theater movie ever. But they fumbled the transitional phase so hard that they're basically trying to, oops, let's try it again. And the plane's flying around for the landing. And if they're not going to have that chance again. You know what I'm saying? They need to masterfully do this time and successfully transfer, which I think is why the Secret Wars, I think, is an easier one to do that with because you're forced into a soft reboot. So I'm a little worried that like I'm putting a little more weight into after these movies than I did with Endgame. I never had that concern with Endgame, but I am with this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. The one thing I could say, and this is like actually a compliment for them. The Russo brothers are really good at like simplifying things. You know what I mean? And we've even seen it in the teasers. It's like, what is the core of Thor? Like, he always wanted to find his place in terms of like, he had the most powerful, the most well-known father. And he was just some kid trying to find his place in the galaxy amongst where they live. Where was Asgard? Like, who is he as an Asgardian? And through 3 movies, we saw him figure it out, lost his destiny, and he always wanted to live up to his dad. Now bring it back. His teaser, Dad, I need your help one last time. I need to find my daughter. That's it. For the teaser. What else do I need to know about Thor? It's like, it's like, oh, he didn't fit. Like he finally got worthy. And the one thing that made him worthy, finally finding love, he's lost that now. Now, please give me any strength I can get to find love again. It's what else do I need to know about Thor? I'm in.
Yeah.
Like Chris. Yeah, sorry.
Let's use this. No. Let's use this to talk about each of the teasers a little bit because I do want to talk about that. I don't think he's looking for love. I read it as he's having to go off to fight and he wants to be able to return to love. Like, like he, not that he lost her, but like, I have to go do this, but I'll be back and we'll live our peaceful life again. I promise. And I really liked that idea of that, like the regretful soldier aspect of him. And it, you're bringing a great point. The fact that they're bringing it back to these core values. One of the core values of Thor in the comic books, like later in all his stories, is being the king of Asgard and not feeling worthy of that role, not necessarily of Mjolnir, but of being his, father's son. And I think that's one thing that Odin does really well is like be a good father, not a good father, to clarify, but being that like stoic father that everybody looks up to, and Thor not filling in for that and worried he's not bringing that to love. So that's a great point. I like that.
Totally. That up. Chris Evans is like, what is the guy who's finally got everything he wants? What brings him back in a battle? Like, listen, sorry guys, like you guys have it. Like I have my family. I can't do this. And then it's like, there has to be a reason. You bring a kid into the mix for him. And he's like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this, but I have to, because if I want a world that's safe for this kid or whatever, I need to be out there giving my all. Simple. Doom, check. Like X-Men, what's going to stop them? Okay, we don't really know again, but like we see that the school's falling apart. Arguably, some of the X-Men are either killed or captured. Okay, I don't want to do this fight anymore, but for one last time, old friend, we gotta give it all we got. And Cyclops just being like, I can't do this. I've tried everything to be this leader. You're forcing me back into this battle. It's like, it's across the board, and so it's so simple. It's simple. And I think that's what the Russos do really well, is simple and powerful.
I think for the X-Men, they already lost the fight. I think because we see the Sentinels that are walking behind them, which, oh my God, seeing that comic book accurate Sentinel foot, I was like, oh baby, I've been waiting for that.
It's so good.
So it'll be interesting to see what brings them in, because it looks like they already lost. So maybe Doom attacks them first. And then they're like, chasing him.
Maybe Doom changes the timeline so Trask wins and he's able to like set up the whole Sentinel program and just destroys it.
You, Doobie.
Yeah, I know. It's like there's very easy things they could do to piece this together, and it's all by little blips, right? We got like that's what they did in Infinity War. They gave us in Endgame they gave us blips of like how all this is going to coincide so that they can ultimately win. And you're right, we get little blips of all about what they lost, and then now it's like, oh crap, okay, now all of a sudden we have to get back what we. And it's funny, if you want to even make it more full circle, look at what Tony Stark says in Endgame. He says, he's like, bring back what we lost. Absolutely. Like lose what we've gained. I can't do it. Like I can't lose my daughter. And so maybe it is, maybe, the internet's right on the theories.
The Thor side of that too. Like you can't lose what he gained. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Jonathan,
it's already there.
You're a notorious Thor hater for the newer ones.
Yeah. This makes me very hopeful. Yeah. Could be because this isn't the frat bro that he became. In the first movie, we see this redemption where he's going from being an immature kid to being a responsible young man willing to take on his father's mantle. And then in 2 and 3, I think are the only ones after that, he's just like this joke. Okay, 3 and 4. He's just this like frat bro, and which is funny, but like save that for Peter Quill. He's great for the comedy guy, but this guy's supposed to be the noble, honorable, true North kind of guy. And luckily, it looks like raising this young girl helps kind of bring him back to those values and wanting to be like his father and raise her to be honorable and everything like that. So I'm looking forward to that change in his character.
Mm-hmm. So I love Thor in the comics when he's trying to take on the mantle so much, because he talks a lot to Yggdrasil, the tree, because that's kind of like the thing that connects all of them. And so he talks to that one a lot. And he does talk to his dad, who's not there anymore, a lot. And then in Donny Cates, he finds him. He's just in a bar without powers. but nevertheless, there is kind of that constant looking back at your legacy and trying to save it. The unreleased teaser, just because I know that you guys haven't probably seen it yet, it does show that Wakanda is being defended by Shuri and M'Baku. We see that Namor is there; he's being called up, and they're talking to the Thing from Fantastic Four. And then we do see the final steps, or the introductional steps of Doctor Doom. And I didn't think about how, in the comic books, those groups are always with each other. You oftentimes see Fantastic Four helping out Wakanda for some reason. I don't know why those always just click well, but they do.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be fun to see them combine.
What's interesting to me is they're in some desert scape. It doesn't look like Wakanda. Wakanda's like a jungle,
and it's not like Namor likes desert.
So. Yeah, exactly. Right. So I can imagine the Fantastic Four maybe crashing in the desert when they come to the planet. Mm-hmm. But yeah, for these other two to be there naturally doesn't make sense. So that has to have been them coming together.
Yeah.
But then when we see Doom 2, I look at it closely. I paused it a couple times. Those eyes to me don't look like Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr.
Interesting.
I don't know. Did that look odd to you, Frank?
Probably what could have happened was the image like very high def, or was it like you seeing somebody record off of a theater?
No, it's pretty high def.
So what it is people are making AI remakes of the theater version. So it was probably just an AI remake of the theater version, is why it didn't look 100% right to you. Because the version I saw, which was the theatrical version, I think, was just like the back of him walking. It wasn't even his eyes. So it was just like, or like the side angle. Yeah.
By the way, we are not promoting leak trailers. And
That's my job.
But AI will get you these days. But another fun fact too, like Black Panther was actually introduced in the comics from Fantastic Four. Yes. So there has always been that connection. Namor wasn't introduced in Fantastic Four, but he was part of their run when they first came out in the 60s. Like he was part of that. I think he was in like the first 5 comics. So like there's a lot of history between all these characters, and I love it. They connected Wakanda and Talokan through technology, through the heart shape, I guess, like the vibranium. And obviously there's like the connection between Fantastic Four and Wakanda because of the advanced technology. Like Reed Richards is always trying to create advanced tech. They have the most advanced tech in the world. Like, of course they would be there. So yeah, I think it does make sense.
You know what? That might be the theme for all of these, which, I mean, I don't know why this is such a hard thing to grasp, is Doom took something from all of these people. And so what probably brings Namor to the table with Wakanda is something he did mess with vibranium. And, maybe it made it to where it's not vibrating anymore or something like that, or whatever. He's we know is technology magic. And then, of course, by the way, that also reminds me of the thing I was DMing you about, Thomas, is we haven't seen magic introduced yet in these teasers. And, that's a huge part of Doctor Strange's story. Or, I'm sorry, Doctor Doom's story. And so maybe we'll see Strange, something like that, pop up soon in the trailer. Or we'll have Lilia, which I was kind of just shooting into the dark. Lilia would be nice to be able to kind of like warn them that Doctor Doom is coming. And that could be why, maybe Scarlet Witch doesn't die at the end of Multiverse of Madness. This is all just like theory crafting at this point.
Yeah. Oh, I got a wild theory that I thought about.
Please throw it out there. Yeah, throw it out there.
Okay, so you made me think about this. Like, what if he took things? I don't. Again, this is just me spitballing, just because it's
that's the fun part. Yeah.
What if Doctor Doom took something from T'Challa, or took something of T'Challa's? Like his original vibranium suit or something.
Yes.
There's no way Shuri or M'Baku doesn't be like, what if he like literally like dug, they probably wouldn't do this, but like dug up his grave to pull something from T'Challa. They would be so pissed. I
would be pissed.
Yeah, we would be pissed too. I know, it would be like,
but yeah, the emotions.
But also we see at the end of Fantastic Four, right? We see that he's taking Franklin, and each of these, several of these, we see the connection between like father and son, or how important your children are to you.
Yeah.
So they're building up in Fantastic Four. We saw when killing your child, offering your child was an option. Everybody said, "What are you doing? Give up the kid, save our planet." So they didn't see the value of like saving one child's life, right? In this, we're seeing how important that is to somebody. Their connection with their child is everything in their life and more. So I think they're kind of gearing us towards, no, you should see it on the other side of the coin, that these people won't give up anything for the child. In fact, they'll fight to the death to save someone else's child for that relationship. And if we go further back, Tony Stark sacrificing himself, with the I Love You 3000, maybe in defeating Doctor Doom, they bring Tony Stark back to his daughter.
Damn. That's pretty wild. I was thinking too, when you were saying that, it's like, wait, there is a child attached to Wakanda as well, T'Challa Jr. What if T'Challa Jr. gets taken? That would 100% force Wakanda.
I'm about to be pissed off with Dr. Doom. I'm just throwing that out there right now. This is successfully working.
Yeah.
Is he doing the Stranger Things finale?
Dude, that's
rounding up kids.
Ooh, yeah.
This goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning, was this marketing successful? And I think the fact that we're all emotionally charged and asking so many questions about something we don't know enough about is exactly what Marvel wants. They want us to be talking about this here on podcasts or at work with your friends or whatever, in Discords. This was successful marketing, and it might be something that not only they will learn to use in the future, but others might do too. Dropping little teasers instead of huge trailers that are like, showstoppers. This is good.
Yeah. I think it's something you can shit on the MCU all you want, but this is something I think also uniquely that the MCU can do, because we care that much. You can't do this for like some random, I don't know, whatever movie or something coming out. It's like, if you showed me like one snippet of Penelope from the Odyssey, I'm like, am I going to care? No, but it's like Matt Damon looking all grisly and stuff. Yeah. So I think this is something the DCU might be able to copy, but there's not many other properties out there that can do this and make it successful. So yes, this worked.
Yeah, because we've been invested for so much, last 15 years or 20 years or whatever too. So
yeah,
I think that's where they get us, is like, we're already in. We got to keep going with it at this point.
Yeah,
we're getting to 20 years though, because 2008 was Iron Man. Oh my God, it's almost 20 years
almost
of MCU.
Oh my God,
crazy.
We're old, everybody. We're very, very old.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I always think of that part from Friends where I think it's like Rachel's turning 30, and then Joey goes, "It's not happening to me. Me and God got a deal." And it's like, I wish I had that. Like, come on, man, no more years.
Yeah. Well, I always say that it's better than the alternative. You either grow old or die young. So it's good to get old.
Yeah,
that's to me Jerry Seinfeld. Seinfeld, to me, I've always thought like they're older people. They're all young 30s and like late 20s in that show. And it's like, no, Elaine is good 40s. Like, don't lie to me like that. No, she's not.
She's holding and like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I would love to hear the people at home. Let us know what your wild fan theories are for Doomsday. What you think's going to happen. What X-Men's going to die immediately. Let's get those out there. I want to know right away, guys. Make sure you let us know.
I don't want to see any of the X-Men die. I want this whole X-Men to be a continued, X2 sequel moving on from here.
Well, while we're being leaking assholes, let's talk. Well, that's a terrible way to say it, but
New podcast.
But
The
while we're
leaky
being
assholes.
leak-filled people, one of the fights that we know is happening because the filming caught it is Nightcrawler versus Mr. Fantastic. And so it's like we know that those two trailers or teasers are going to unite, and it's going to be fun. Like all these parties look like they're separated, but we know they're coming together at some point in the movie.
Yeah.
That I cannot wait for that fight. That is
my
just,
God.
yeah, that is an imagination dream right there. Like that is just wish fulfillment to the max. I cannot wait for that one.
We're very lucky.
And Nightcrawler is one of the best X-Men. If they wanted to do kind of like the new Green Lanterns, but kind of an X-Men series, I would totally be on board.
100%. I don't know. You'd have to. It can't. I love Alan Cummings, but it would have to be a new actor. But man, I would have watched the crap out of that. I don't know. That's a dream. I would love that.
I almost want like an X-Men Dark where it's like Gambit, like kind of the street level darker side. Gambit, Nightcrawler,
kind of,
Rogue. Yeah. That'd be really fun. Gonna be good stuff, guys. Cannot wait for all that. Let's go ahead and close this one out by talking about our recommendations for the week or what we're gonna be doing. Jonathan, I'm gonna fire off with you first.
Oh man, so I'm gonna be digging through my comic books. I know I have a series called The Sea of Stars that is a very young kids style of comic book, and it's a story about a dad and his son in space. The dad's like a space like junker, I think, like he's like works in a scrapyard or something like that. And somehow something happens, they get separated. Come to find out, his kid has like some kind of superpower where he's able to survive in space and all this stuff. And so it's all about the dad trying to get back to the son and the son learning who he is and his powers and stuff. So I think that's a perfect one to start with reading with my son, because he is all about space and planets right now. He loves it. So I want to dig those out. I know I'm missing a couple issues, but I'm gonna dig out what I got, find the ones that I need, and start reading that with him. So,
and I just got just Supergirl, but I don't know if it's appropriate for him because there are moments where it's like it's mature thinking. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Colorful though, beautiful comic book. Thomas, what do you got?
Yeah, so recommendations. I recently watched Roof Man, and I finally watched part 2, The Wicked for Good.
Yeah,
both those really good movies. I enjoyed both of them. They're not like 10 out of 10, but I mean, both really enjoyable for what they were. Like I saw Wicked in theaters, and like I was like, sorry everybody, maybe it was just a cast. I was like, I like it, but I liked the movie. I thought that was super good. And Roof Man, that's an impactful show. Like as maybe a new dad, or just like, trying to find your place in the world when you don't know what to do and you're trying everything. That movie's, man, Channing Tatum, he's a good actor.
I like Channing Tatum a lot. I think he's underrated. Yeah,
I think so too.
All right, for me, I got a couple of you guys. These are gonna be classic Franks. He's gonna talk about Taskmaster again. Taskmaster just announced the cast for season 21, series 21. Let me correct myself because it's a British show. And we have Arnaldo Iannucci. He's the creator of Veep and Avenue 5 and a lot of the things that we like. He's going to be one of the contestants this season. And Kumail Nanjiani is going to be one of the contestants this season. And I love it because like Kumail, me and John were talking about this recently. On a recent interview, he was talking about how like he talked to his manager. His manager's like, "What's Taskmaster? This is going to cost you money. Why are you doing this?" And he's just like, "I have to be on Taskmaster. What are you talking about?" And Jason Mantzoukas was the same thing. He was like, "I don't care. I'm a big fan." And there's so many people that are like Paul F. Tompkins and stuff like that. It's just like, I know it's going to cost us money. We have to fly over for all the recordings and stuff like that. I'll do it out of pocket. I just want to be on the show. And that's the kind of thing I'm telling you guys. It's so fun to watch. The loyal fan base. This is going to sound weird. I kind of fell in love with podcast listening again over the break. Because when you're editing podcasts all the time, guys, it's understandable that you kind of fall in love or don't listen to podcasts anymore. But I started listening to the Taskmaster podcast hosted by Ed Gamble, who won Series 9, and they do all the recordings in the caravan or the camping trailer that's on the set. But nevertheless, it was like, man, this is what I loved about podcasting that I haven't really been able to listen to them again. It's just conversations that kind of explore corners that I want to talk about more. And so it was nice to hear that again. And yeah, so Taskmaster guys, just join the fandom with me so I could talk about it more. That'd be great. I appreciate it.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, it definitely sold me on it. And yeah, to your point, seeing Kumail be like, I'm literally paying to do this work because I want to be a part of it so much.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, how did I not check that out? It's just so cool. So yeah, I'm in.
Alex Horn, who's, he's the assistant, but he's also the guy that created the show and he's the showrunner. He is super just giving. And so for the Americans, and now it releases at the exact same time as for the British people. We get it on YouTube, and it's completely free to watch on YouTube. So Series 19 is the one I'm suggesting for anybody who wants to watch it. It's the one with Jason Mantzoukas. An American comes in. It's an incredibly fun cast. They were saying it's the first time that the cast like became such good friends that they had lunch every day together and stuff like that. And so it was a really good season to start off with. All of them are good in my opinion, but that one's like special. So
adding it to the queue now.
There we go, guys. All right, everybody. I want to thank you very much for joining us on Geek Freaks. Make sure you guys check out everything we have in our network. Fandom Portals is busting butt over there. Just did 3 reasons why you need to watch SpongeBob, the new movie. Distance and Nerding is doing a bunch of live shows, and they have cons that are coming up in their schedule pretty soon with some very cool interviews at those cons, I will say. Disney Mom's Gone Wrong just recorded a few things, and they have a couple guest stars coming up. Next up is going to be Zootopia 1.
Good one.
And I was just showing somebody from Utah messaged me, he's like, hey, I just met somebody in the wild who listens to Disney Mom's Gone Wrong, so I sent it to Diana. Diana's like, oh my God, we have fans. I'm like, of course you have fans, so
that's awesome.
Keep that in mind when one of the mics not working. God bless. So, and then Headlines is going strong and will be available on more platforms in the next couple weeks as we're transitioning to a new server for Headlines. But thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Aloha.